If you hear that, black is beautiful. Santa Claus. Black is beautiful. It's a texture. Lift your head like me. You got to wear your collar with dignity. How it burns out. Black is beautiful. I said, sing it along. Black is beautiful. Say, I'm black and proud. It's my time that we get rid of that old slave mentality.
To those people who have done well to make this show a success, give them a nice round of applause. Make them feel good so they can bring us back again. And so you all nice people in the audience, we have in the audience King Wellington, we have my manager there, we have Gil Figaro who did a wonderful show on Sunshine Records. Give all them fellas a beautiful round of applause. Nice to see you, Wellington. Beautiful. And while we thank God for Thanksgiving Day, we have to thank God for being us Africans. So I want to thank God for making me black. And I welcome this song to you. I hope you love it. It's called They Ain't See Africa at All. Music. I see black people running from their race. They own black children they can't face. They don't know their roots as a glorious bloom. Blessed be the fruits of their womb. They just be acting as though they shame of their history. They just be proud of other people's own. They just be glad to disclose their baby's ancestry, putting their child upon a false throne, not their own. For hear them boast to their friends and their neighbor, my baby's nose from his Spanish grandfather. My grandmother married a Chinese named Lau. That is why the eye's so pretty and he has such thick eyebrows. The dimple come from a husband's side whose great grandfather was Irish. And watch how the eyes pretty and wide, cause the mother mixed with British. And watch at me, I'm Caribbean Portuguese. So me chai here curly. But the baby black down to the eyeball, they see Africa at all, at all, at all, at all. I said the baby black like a voodoo doll, they see Africa at all. I see black people running from their race. Food from our table they can't face. If you hear them boast about how they just make French fry and French toast with that steak, they have a name for all them foreign foods they're using. Italian pizza, they murdering. Big African wedding, they serving Spanish rice with Scotch whiskey and French wine on ice to feel nice. Chinese chowing, serving in black christening. English muffin, when there's some graduating. They does fry egg and call that Spanish omelette. And frying Irish potato with New Zealand butter in bed. Hungarian goulash and Irish stew is what they're preparing for lunch. They even go in Honolulu to drink up the Hawaiian punch. Yet when they brew, there more be and turn cuckoo and swizzle hallelujah. Or make their corn and tamarind ball. They don't see Africa at all, at all, at all, at all. They're making jam and jashi look small. They don't see Africa at all. Oh, 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 oh. Black people must stop running from their race and search this their place for their traits. You don't have to go by plane to Ghana in order to see Africa. Every time you come planting with mortar and pestle, or on your hand you wear your slave band, or when the Moko Jumbie walk tall amidst the people, then you rubbing shoulders with Africans. Understand what the neighbors say, how she neighbors string berry in New York City, so that makes her a Yankee. Oh, how she love stories of Arabian Nights and boasting about her French perfume and her Turkish delights. African dashiki she won't wear, she would not even plait her hair. Stories of the Lagahoo, her children them never hear. Yet when her husband, Mr. Paul, left her last year, she run quickly for Obia. She burning light to put blight on Paul. She ain't see Africa at all, at all, at all, at all. The Obia man gave she push back to bring back Paul. She ain't see Africa at all. See Africa. Sign backstage.
Yeah, baby.
When you have sleep apnea, good sleep is a turn-off.
It had elements of people from the neighboring village of Annandale, and in this case, with the emancipation, it would be Africans from Annandale who were the soul of the drumming movement. And they were probably call themselves Congo people. And it is among those people too that I was born in Lusignan estate. And we came out to Buxton and they came to Annandale with the Sugar Welfare Development Movement of the post-Enmore Martyrs times. when people could get a loan from the Sugar Labor Welfare Department, built on special funds, uh, built up during the Second World War, and especially after the Enmore martyrs, when they felt they had to do something about housing on the sugar plantations. Now, so the sugar plantation is something that unites everybody in Guyana, and yet we remain divided. But the sugar plantation was the navel string where all our navel strings were buried. And we used to be talking with these elders in Annandale, drummers, you find drummers, you found people there who knew traditions and would sit and talk with young people. I remember Mrs. Morrison. I've sent many visiting scholars doing research to Annandale to meet Mrs. Morrison, Miss Frida at Buxton, Frida Marcus. When she died, she was so important in the village that 3 members of our family came to her funeral. I had to come. Our eldest son and our single daughter, they call her Mama Frida, and they could not stay away. And she was a comfort woman. Her faith was the comfort that we hear so much about, that some people think to be equivalent with magic, but comfort is an ancient African way. I don't even want to call it a religion. It's a way of connecting with the unseen, with what we would call the divine, the unseen, the unknown, the universal. And that is what many of these mysterious looking things are all about. I know I'm rambling, but I don't apologize because I wasn't told where to go. I wasn't told what I'm coming to. So I ramble at will. Um, these faiths, some of them have a trance, in which they say they catch the spirit. It's nothing unusual. It's not weird. It is the way people who are unspoiled by industry have always been. And so we had all these influences and a lot of compassion among these people. I have known no one with the amount of feeling and compassion for children like Mama Frida. Good gracious. And that is why our children felt they had to come. She was one of their mothers.
Good morning, good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of you. I know this is impromptu. Um, Today is April 4th, and April 4th, 2025. It is the 100th birth anniversary of Elder Brother Eusi Kwayana. He's in Guyana. As we speak, tomorrow they are going to have a big to-do in Buxton, and so many of you will be there. And so I thought I would give this tribute. Please share the link and let everybody know that we are on, paying tribute to Brother Eusi Kwayana, who turns 100 today. 100 today. Let's
And I don't think I need spend much time explaining who they are to any single person in this room. So I won't waste their time by trying to do so. But the event tonight has a special significance for me, and I think for all of you. because Eusi is back with us. He's part of the history of Guyana. He's part of my history and the history of everyone in this room. And he is still making it at the age of 89. I'm very happy to see. Eusi's career, if one can call it that, I prefer to call it his commitment.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. Has been through many turns and byways, geographically, on the social and political spectrum of Guyana. He has been a member of this group, a founder of the other. He has resigned from a group from time to time, and he has criticized groups from time to time. I feel personally that he is the only political person that I've known in which I have no problem about his organizational meanderings, because I know the star he sails by. And that star is a commitment to certain ideals which he has never, ever deserted or abandoned. Where the organizations do not live up to those ideals or turn against those ideals or in any way shame those ideals, they don't have a Eusi anymore with it. I think he confers on the commission that is sitting on the assassination of Walter Rodney a dignity that it has not had until he arrived in Guyana and spoke to it. And I only hope that the commission realizes this and acts with the respect that that situation, that event is due. Malcolm Rodriguez.
Miles Fitzpatrick there, the late Miles Fitzpatrick, talking about Eusi Kwayana, brother Eusi Kwayana, our elder, my elder. He turns 100 today, and not very often people live to that ripe age. He has lived to that age, but he is a special person. He is one of Guyana's unique gifts to itself and to the world, because Kwayana belongs to the world. Let me just read for you what one of the parties, the last party that he belonged to, political party, the Working People's Alliance. He was a co-founder of that political party in 1974. Let me read for you what that party said in its tribute to Brother Eusi. WPA joins with the rest of Guyana, Buxton, the Caribbean, the Pan-African world, and progressives the world over in saluting Brother Eusi Kwayana on his 100th birth anniversary, today, April 4th. It is difficult to capture Brother Eusi's contribution to his village, his country, and the Caribbean region in a press release, so we will not attempt to do so. But suffice to say that the Sage of Buxton, as he's fondly known, is a living testimony to the promise of a humane Guyana. He is one of the finest products of our country, a selfless crusader for justice and dignity in every aspect of our collective national journey. His 8 decades of political and social activism have allowed him to experience and influence the twists and turns of our socio-political, economic, and cultural decolonization and post-colonization. While we have not produced saints, in public life. Kwayana comes closest to that designation. Incorruptible, even as corruption became a staple in politics. He is a persistent example that human beings are by nature moral beings, destined to live in a state of freedom. He's a political activist by conviction. His politics have been buttressed by education, drama, folklore, journalism, and scholarship. Brother Eusi constantly reminds us of what it is to be human. Our party, the WPA, owes a lot to Kwayana's activism, his wisdom, and his leadership. But he transcends parties or a party. He is Guyana's unique gift to itself and the world. WPA views his longevity as a special blessing from God and the ancestors. We thank him for his contributions. We thank his family for sharing him with us. We look forward to his continued guidance and blessings. We love you, Brother Eusi. Today is very emotional for me. I have known Brother Eusi all my life. He lived a stone's throw from where I was born and where I grew up, in Buxton. From a child, you would hear the people speaking about him in reverence. I would see him as a little boy walking the streets of Buxton. And when I was about 14 years old, I became very close to him when I joined the Buxton 1st of August movement. And our relationship, our bond has remained very close since then, 51 years later. He is still my elder, still my mentor, still my Baba. And I often say, maybe my life would have been something, maybe, but I often say I don't know what my life would have been if Eusi Kwayana had not come into my life. He has influenced me, not in everything that I do, but my commitment to public life, my commitment to justice, my commitment to politics, my commitment to culture, my pride in who I am as an African, as a Guyanese, as a Caribbean person. Has always been encouraged by him. My decision to get into education as a career educator was influenced a lot by him. Brother Eusi is my father. Not my biological father, but perhaps more important than my biological father, the tremendous influence he has had on me. And on so many others, that today, as he becomes 100, we are all so proud that he has lived this long and that he continues to breathe the breath of life in us. As the WPA statement says, we love you, Brother Eusi. Let me just share with you a biography, a short biography that I have written about Brother Eusi, because so much about his contribution to our country is not as known as it should be. Today, April 4th, 2025, Eusi Kwayana turns 100. He is the only living member of the class of 1953, the foremost leaders of the original PPP. It is difficult to properly analyze modern Guyanese politics without taking into consideration Eusi Kwayana's wide-ranging contributions. His political career has spanned more than 8 decades, which mirrors the period normally referred to as the modern phase of Guyanese and Caribbean politics. I pay tribute to Kwayana by offering an overview of his political life and work. Brother Eusi, formerly Sidney King, was born on April 4, 1925, in Lusignan, and has been involved in Guyana's national politics since 1947. He has been referred to as the Sage of Buxton, Renaissance man, and Guyana's Gandhi, among other descriptions. His public life is multifaceted: political activist, educator, writer, journalist, dramatist, folklorist, and historian. But it is as a political activist that Kwayana has made his most telling contribution and is best known to Guyanese. He has become one of Guyana's most distinguished political leaders. Ironically, he has also been one of the most controversial and misunderstood public personalities. He entered the political arena as a supporter of Cheddi Jagan in the latter's successful bid for a seat in the Legislative Council of the then British Guyana in 1947. He soon joined the Political Affairs Committee, a small left-wing group that was the precursor to the People's Progressive Party, the country's first mass-based political party. He served as Assistant General Secretary of the PPP. Kwayana, who easily won his parliamentary seat in the 1953 elections, became Minister of Works in the new government, which lasted for 133 days. By this time, he was regarded by the British as a staunch socialist. This perception was based largely on his militant stance on independence. During his short tenure as Minister of Works, he improved the country's transportation system. His militancy was captured in a statement which has since become part of Guyanese political folklore. When, after a mere 133 days of the PPP government, the British suspended the constitution, fired ministers, and landed troops in Guyana, Kwayana was one of the leaders cited by the governor as the ringleader of a communist conspiracy. He and other ringleaders were arrested and detained for close to 3 months. It was while he was a minister that he uttered the famous words to the then governor, "I will not stand for this confounded nonsense." It has since been translated into popular folklore as "this confounded nonsense must stop." While Cheddi Jagan and Forbes Burnham, the party's primary leaders, quickly became identified with the East Indian and African communities respectively, Kwayana, an African, was seen as neutral. While he was aware of the ethnic rumblings among the party supporters, he felt that independence was paramount. This balancing act by Kwayana was evidenced when there were two challenges to Jagan's leadership of the party. Forbes Burnham, the party's chairman, first challenged Jagan for the leadership of the party before the 1953 election. Most of the African leadership supported Burnham, but Kwayana vehemently defended Jagan's right to remain as leader. A simple reason was Jagan had done nothing to warrant removal from the position. When some members proposed Kwayana as the compromise leader, a suggestion that was supported by Burnham, Kwayana turned down the offer on the grounds that he did not want to be seen as taking away the position from Jagan. Burnham made another bid for the leadership after the electoral victory in 1953. But once again, Kwayana came to Jagan's defense. Burnham eventually withdrew his challenge after a compromise on the makeup of the cabinet. When in 1955, the PPP split generally along ethnic lines, Kwayana was one of a group of Africans that remained with the Cheddi Jagan faction. However, he left the Jagan faction in 1956, largely over the party's refusal to take Guyana into the West Indies Federation. After unsuccessfully running as an independent candidate at the 1957 election, he joined the newly formed People's National Congress, led by Forbes Burnham, and served as General Secretary and editor of the party's organ, New Nation, until he was expelled from the party in 1961 for publicly engaging the ethnic problems in the country. He then co-founded in 1961 the African Society for Racial Equality, ASRE, which was dedicated primarily to raising cultural consciousness among African Guyanese and championing the cause of ethnic equality. As ethnic insecurity by both East Indians and Africans became more manifest, Kwayana, on behalf of ASRE, proposed a power-sharing arrangement or joint premiership between Mr. Burnham and Dr. Jagan, with partition of the country as a last resort. Both leaders rejected the proposal. ASRE was disbanded a year later amidst fears of dividing the African Guyanese community, and the country descended into open conflict that lasted from 1961 to 1964. Kwayana's joint premiership proposal was the first power-sharing initiative placed on the national agenda. In that regard, he's the Guyanese and Anglophone Caribbean pioneer of power-sharing or shared governance. Amidst the ethnic violence that engulfed the country, Kwayana in 1964 co-founded the African Society for Cultural Relations with Independent Africa, ASCRIA, which, like ASRE, committed itself to the promotion of African pride, dignity, and culture among African Guyanese. He served as coordinating elder of Askria and changed his name to Eusi Kwayana, which in Swahili means black man of Guyana. Although he never rejoined the PNC, he supported the party which rose to power in 1964 as part of a coalition with the United Force. He held several influential positions in the government. He was head of the National Land Settlement Committee, chairman of the Guyana Marketing Corporation, chairman of the Cooperative Insurance Committee, and chairman of a committee charged with converting the Guyana Cooperative Credit Society into what became known as the Cooperative Bank. He was also instrumental in developing the country's foreign policy towards Africa. In addition, it was he, Kwayana, who suggested to Prime Minister Burnham that our republic be named the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Kwayana, therefore, is the author of our cooperative, the name Cooperative Republic of Guyana. One of the first acts of the new PNC-led government was to send Kwayana on a visit to Africa on behalf of the party. He visited 13 African countries and met with the heads of government and other state officials. He explained the ethnic situation in Guyana and urged support for the new government. He also met with leaders of the liberation movements fighting against apartheid in South Africa and Rhodesia. He had taken a donation of 20 pounds, which was collected at an Askria meeting in Buxton. In 1971, he broke with the PNC over the issue of government corruption and became one of its critics. In the process, Kwayana and Askria began to develop relations with other radical anti-government organizations, such as Moses Bhagwan's Indian People's Revolutionary Associates and Clive Thomas's Ratoon, which in 1974 merged to form the Working People's Alliance. He has been a leading member of the party and was its presidential candidate in 1985 and parliamentarian in the years 1986 to 1990. Critically, during that period, he directly and indirectly mentored an entire group of political activists who have continued to serve in public life in Guyana and beyond. There are 5 aspects of Kwayana's political life that stands out. First, for him, politics is not a path to power, but a medium for service and collective liberation. Second, while he has held strong ideological positions, he has not been dogmatic. He preferred to be guided by fairness rather than political correctness. Third, although he has held leadership positions in 3 major political parties, he has never sought the top position. As mentioned before, he turned down in 1953 leadership of the PPP party and the government. Fox Burnham in 1953 had pledged his willingness to serve under Kwayana, but Chedi Jagan did not. Kwayana promptly declined, and the rest is history. Fourth, he's the only major Caribbean politician who was publicly admitted to mistakes on important issues. Fifth, his political practice has been grounded in political morality. An important aspect of Kwayana's political life has been his ability to influence politics outside of formal political office. There are two major factors that contributed to this. First, he has taken on issues of fairness and justice, even when it is not politically correct to do so. In this regard, his concern is always whether it is fair or just. Second, he has been fiercely independent. His bottom line has always been what is best for the people and the country rather than for the party or the leader. This independent thought and action has contributed to carving out an independent or third space in a political process that is dominated by duality. His independence was manifested not only by actions outside of the two major parties, but when he functioned inside the parties. This independent or third space accommodated ASCRI in the 1960s, the WPA from the 1970s, and more recent organizations such as the Alliance for Change. The importance of this independent space is its ability to constantly provide a critique of the dominant tendencies that have both radicalizing and democratizing effect on the political process. Walter Rodney's direct impact on the politics of the 1970s was facilitated by this third space pioneered by Kwayana. Although Kwayana functioned in the executive branch for just 133 days and in the legislature for a little over 5 years, he has had a major impact on every major political episode in Guyana. Kwayana has been a strong believer in organization and movements. From his entry into political life in the late 1940s to the present, he has always belonged to at least one major national organization. He's the only major political leader in Guyana to play leading roles in the three defining movements of the last 8 decades: the independence movement, the Black Power movement, and the pro-democracy movement. Another aspect of Kwayana's political praxis is his engagement of the concrete. Although he was ideologically grounded in the left wing of Caribbean politics, he avoided the dogmatism that has sometimes immobilized his fellow travelers. Because his point of departure has always been the concrete conditions, he drew lessons from them rather than imposing lessons on them. This in turn has contributed to his broad praxis, which is sometimes wrongly projected as changes in his approach. While Marxists generally avoided the issue of race and ethnicity, Kwayana did not. No public person since 1961 has written and spoken more on Guyana's persistent ethnic problem than Kwayana. He was the first political leader to raise the issue of race as a central problem in the political process and offered a solution. Since then, he has functioned simultaneously as the foremost messenger of African cultural pride and regeneration in Guyana, and an advocate of multiracial working class solidarity and unity. He is a committed working class liberator, as he is to African progress and freedom. This engagement of ethnicity and race in an ethnically divided country has earned him the status of both hero and villain. But in the final analysis, his political life reflects the persistent dilemma of race, ethnicity, and class. More than any other political person of his generation, he has managed to synthesize the three. Kwayana has a long trail of writings, beginning with his writings in the PPP's Thunder in the early 1950s, during which time he wrote many articles and editorials that did not carry his name. He would later serve as editor of the PNC's New Nation, editor of Askria's African Drums, and WPA's Day Clean and Open Word. In addition to his journalistic writings, Kwayana has written many books, academic papers, and policy papers. Most of his writings have addressed the concrete issues of the particular time, but others have addressed broad issues such as race, ethnicity, governance, and culture. He has also written the party songs of the PPP, PNC, and WPA. His books include Next Witness, Guyana No Guilty Race, Buxton Friendship in Print and Memory, Scars of Bondage, which he co-authored with his wife, Eusi Kwayana, The Morning After, Walter Rodney, His Last Days, The Bauxite Strike and the Old Politics, Jonestown, Dimensions from a Guyanese Perspective, The Legend, Post-Emancipation Villages in Guyana, which is based on an interview with yours truly, and Gang Gang, 35 Guyanese Proverbs. As an educator, he was the founder of County High School, which later became the Republic Cooperative High School in his village, Buxton. He has written academic books, including Groovy Grammar, a book on English grammar. He has taught generations of Guyanese, many on the east coast of Demerara, and of course in his village, Buxton. He's also a poet and a playwright. His most famous play is called The Promised Land, a play which chronicles the buying of the village of Buxton by ex-enslaved people in 1840. I end this overview of Kwayana's work with a personal note. I have had the good fortune of working with and learning from some of the best intellectuals and political minds in Guyana. My experience as a member of the WPA for the last 5 decades has been the finest education in politics and public engagement. In all of this, the persistent example of Eusi Kwayana has been pivotal. He is the finest human being I have encountered in my life's journey. That's my tribute to Brother Eusi Kwayana on his 100th birthday. As I said, it is emotional. Emotional because this is someone whose reach has been so broad, so deep, so long. He has touched so many of us. So many of us. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Brother Eusi. You deserve to live for another 100 years. God may continue to bless you. To bless you. You are truly blessed.
Neighboring village of Annandale, and in this case with the emancipation it would be Africans from Annandale who were the soul of the drumming movement, and they were probably call themselves Congo people. And it is among those people too that I was born in Lusignan estate, and we came out to Buxton and they came to Annandale with the sugar welfare development movement of the post-Enmore Martyrs times, when people could get a loan from the Sugar Labor Welfare Department, built on special funds, built up during the Second World War, and especially after the Enmore Martyrs, when they felt they had to do something about housing on the sugar plantations. Now, so the sugar plantation is something that unites everybody in Guyana, and yet we remain divided. But the sugar plantation was the navel string where all our navel strings were buried.
If you hear that, black is beautiful, Santa Claus.